Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to our third video of our video series where I, Stephan, aka the Cloudgeek, teach Tracy, the ChangeGeek, some cool stuff about artificial intelligence, and where we talk about Office 365 and the Microsoft cloud ecosystem. As I already mentioned, this is the third video clip. Today we're gonna hit some flow. As we did last time, we did a form which apparently was used to get feedback from our employees or customers or whatever. And in the second video clip, we set up the Azure services, the cognitive services API, which we need to detect the sentiment of the answers given in our form. And I would like to welcome Tracy this morning as well. Hi, Tracy. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Stephan. Yes, very, very excited to be part of this. And as you said, I'm definitely learning some very cool stuff. So Tracy from the Schyff, all the way from South Africa. And really looking forward to what you'll be showing us today, Stephan. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I guess every one of you know Flow, at least from Tracy's blog post, I guess, which everyone has read. As she's doing her challenge about Microsoft 365, so 365 days a year, every time a blog post every day, which is rather cool. I guess you've already done a blog post about Flow this time, or?
I have, but I have to correct you, Stephan. So the second challenge that I did, the first one I wrote a blog every day. And the second challenge, because I knew I would have some crazy deadlines, I changed it to 365 blogs in 365 days. So I'm not really writing a blog every day, but every couple of days I might write a lot of blogs to catch up. But yes, I've definitely written a couple of blogs about the Flow.
Cool. Yeah, so let's get into it. Bring up the Office 365 portal where we have all our services shown up, and we want to go and hit the Flow. As some of you might know, Flow is the service for automating tasks, creating little workflows without the need to write a single line of code, which is pretty cool, I guess. For you guys out there who are not the developer geeks and love to write thousands of lines of code, this is a nice service to get things done in an automated way. So we want to create a new flow, and we want to start from blank. Otherwise, you could start from a template, from predefined templates. You could even upload your own template if you think the flow you created is cool. It could be used from other users as well. So we want to create a new flow, create a trigger at first, because we need the trigger to start the flow whenever some things are happening. We want to search for forms, as the flow should be triggered each time a new response is submitted in our form. So we hit on that, create or sign in to the forms service, and then we'll pick our form which we've created in our first video. So it was called job questionnaire, so we hit that one. Then we want to create a new step. So basically in Flow you can create your action step by step. Either create an action which really executes something, or you could add a condition, a switch case if you want to check for some if statements, a for each loop, do until, or add a scope. We'll hit the add an action button because we want to detect the sentiment of our responses at first. So we'll just want to search for sentiment, and it gives us the action text analytics detect sentiment. Text analytics, you remember from the last video, it was the cognitive service API which we've created in our Azure portal, where we copied our key from the cognitive services API, which we'll need later on to basically create our connection to the API. It was named Survey 365, and we want to insert our account key, which we've gotten from the Azure portal. Then we'll hit create, and now we're basically logged into the service and authenticated, and we can choose whatever text we want to analyze. And I guess the best text which could be analyzed is the feelings of the user who's responded to our survey. So we'll pick how do you feel at work, and then we'll basically add a condition and check for the score of the sentiment detection analysis. So the sentiment detection analysis works that way that it detects the score of each analyzed text phrase, which could be between 0 and 1, where 0 is rather bad and 1 is rather good. So we'll take the score, and then we'll just choose if the score is less than a value, and the value should be 0.5. So if the value is rather negative than positive, then we want to do an action. The action is shown below here, if yes or if no, which is predefined there. If yes, we want to alert our Microsoft Teams channel that a negative response was given. So we'll do the same as above and search for our connectors, which is in that case Teams. And with Teams, we have a lot of actions to choose from. We can either post a message, create a channel, list channels, or list teams, but we want to post a message in a created channel. And I've created a channel beforehand, which is named HR. So we want to notify our HR team that a negative answer was given. And the channel ID was, I have to look this up, but I guess I could just click on the drop down and select our job questionnaires channel, which I've created. And then we want to insert a message. So basically I won't write it yet because I've prepared it beforehand. We wanna state our team that the user has submitted a negative answer concerning his or her feelings, and we'll insert, which is really cool in there. We can insert some variables which are predefined by the service. So we can insert the responder's email. So we can say user a.fabricam.com, for example, has submitted a negative answer. We can insert the submission time when the submission was done, and we'll insert the sentiment score to notify the team about the sentiment.
Stephan, sorry, just to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Did you ever use SharePoint Designer to build workflows?
Yeah, I used to, but it's a long way in the past.
Let me tell you, and this is coming now from the non-developer girl who found herself in IT. So I had to use SharePoint Designer and InfoPath to do some workflows and things for compliance solutions. And believe me, as a non-developer in SharePoint Designer, building those type of things was incredibly difficult. It really nothing made sense. So it's such a pleasant thing to see how easy it is to pull those variables in. And to insert those references, so that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and everyone can use this, not only developers, as I said, which is pretty cool in my opinion.
That is.
So now even the non-developers will get developers without
The people like me.
yeah,
I was
without the need to write
just
code.
a note on that quickly. When I was at a community event in Monaco a couple of months ago,
Yeah.
the keynote was about citizen development. It was actually a very nice thing. I don't know if you've ever read up about citizen development, but
Yeah.
that's exactly where we are, is where non-developer type people start adding value to business, because they
Yeah.
can also use the same functionality now. So that's a pretty cool thing.
So, yeah, and as you mentioned, SharePoint, I guess we want to archive our responses somewhere to SharePoint. And if you check the actions for SharePoint, we have 21 actions already in Flow. So it's one of the biggest connectors in Flow, and we want to. I guess it would be cool to create a list item for each response given in our SharePoint online based intranet or whatever. So it's pretty easy to do that. So we just wanna sign in here, enter the site address name, enter our predefined list names, which we can choose from the drop-down. And then it just pops up and gives us the possibility to insert to our list via just picking the right variables, which are predefined from our action or trigger on the forms service. So we want to insert our username, which is basically the email address. We can insert the job description by clicking on the question of how would you describe your job. We want to insert the description of the position, maybe the feelings as well. How do you feel at work? The rating. Where is it? How would you rate yourself? And the answers, which of the following answers fits best, and that's it. So with this way you can easily fill in your SharePoint lists without the need to write even a single line of code in there.
That's very, very cool.
Give it a name. So it's survey 365 and click create. Now the flow is saved. We can just run it whenever we want it to. Click off and on. If you wanna edit something, you can edit it. And basically now it's set up. So if anyone will respond to the form, the flow gets triggered and we'll maybe get a notification in our Teams channel and get a new list item in the SharePoint, which we'll go through in the next video series.
Oh, that's very, very exciting. Just a question quick, Stephan. One of the steps there, and maybe I missed something, is where you looked up the service and you said that the score, if the score is below, I don't know, 0.5 or something.
Yeah.
Where did the score field come from? I kind of missed that. Is that because of the service that we set up?
The score field comes from the text sentiment, so from the text analytics service.
Okay.
Yeah, it calculates automatically, and basically each action or each connector gives the users a different output variable, either one or multiple. So
that specific service that we link to and that we set up allows it looks at that field and it calculates the score.
Right.
Okay. That I understand better. Okay, well, I'm very, very excited to try this next time, and then obviously we'll look at completing a couple of forms. So maybe we could do that offline so that we've got some data,
Yeah, we will.
And then we can look at how that affects Microsoft Teams, how it comes up in Teams, and then also how that's visually or how that's stored actually in SharePoint would be a good call as well.